Dog? Can befriend dog? Petting dog. Dog belongs to me now! Ladies, gentlemen, and adventurers of all ages, with Baldurs Gate 3 now properly released around the world, there are some things that you want to take care of sooner rather than later in the game, and one of the biggest ones is companions. Maximum party size in Baldurs Gate 3 is 4 player units, and if you are doing a group playthrough with your friends, you're probably already set. You probably got 4 people, so it's a full party. But for the rest of us going at it solo on this one, you'll notice the very first few fights of the game that it is arguably very much balanced around you having a 4-person party, and so your companions are incredibly important to you, arguably even more so within the first few minutes of the game, while you dedicate yourself to just having at least 4 people in your party, regardless of which ones they are. So today we're going to go over how to get all the companions available in Act 1 as quickly as possible, as well as going over 2 companions you can start towards getting early on, but will be locked off forever if you make the wrong choices early. Then we'll also go over the idea of party composition, but it is much looser and freer in Baldurs Gate 3 than you may have actually imagined, and we'll also talk briefly about companion stories and quests. So first up, on the Mind Flayer ship itself, right when you start off the game, as you are pressing forward, you will enter a room with a pod. Inside of the pod is a somewhat brutish cleric named Shadowheart. Progress forwards into the next room, and on a corpse at the back, you'll find a rune. Interact with the console that was beside Shadowheart now that you have this rune, and she'll be freed and join your party as you continue to escape. When the ship, lands, let's say, you wind up on a beach. If you interacted with Shadowheart and freed her earlier, she will be laying on the sand just a few feet in front of you. If you did not free Shadowheart, she will instead be waiting at the Druid Grove. Talk to her on the beach though if you have her there, and she will immediately join your party right at the start. After that, you can immediately take a left and head through the debris of the ship beside you. There is a fight here, but it's not too bad if you have Shadowheart with you. Once you've reached this spot on your map, you will come across Astarion, our roguish friend who definitely has no secrets at all in any way, shape, or form. Talk to him for a brief moment, and then he'll come along with you. Then head back to the right through the debris of the ship again to find your first waypoint on the other side. If you interact with it, out will pop Gale, a wizard who also has no secrets at all. Man, it's almost like this game is all full of people who blurt out full truths at every moment, never hiding anything. From there, quickly jot a bit east and then head north until you reach Lae'zel. She'll be in a cage trap with a couple of guards, but you can talk them out of doing just anything rash and letting you handle it yourself pretty easily. Free her from the cage, and then she will immediately join your party from there. Only at this point, if you've been collecting everyone I've pointed you towards, your party will be full, so instead she will head to your camp. This is where you sleep at night, and you can teleport here at any time to interact with your companions, as well as swapping in and out who you want in your party at any given time. From here you want to keep heading north, and as you do, you will come across a bit of a battle happening. Finish the battle. I'm avoiding anything even remotely spoilery about talking about it, but then head north inside of the place that unlocks afterwards until you find the training grounds and a friendly face by the name of Wyll, the Blade of Frontiers. Talk to him here and he will once again join your merry band of adventurers. Without them, there is only one more that you can actually collect as a companion in Act 1, but it requires heading to the western side of the chapter area. So head your way back down to this bridge right here around the middle of what we've seen so far. Cross this and you'll have some conversation checks if you want to enter the Blighted Village without a fight. Head north through the area until you reach another bridge and cross it. Head forwards then east to find a pack of mostly dead hyenas. Without spoiling anything again, this causes a fight and you want to be quick about handling it. Continue along this path past the hyenas and it'll take you right to the water right around this location on your map, and this is where you will meet Karlach. Now, Karlach and Wyll have somewhat opposing lifestyles, so they will absolutely butt heads, but you can make them work together if you talk them through it all, which means that you can, in fact, have both of these companions together in your party. They don't cross each other out by any means. That is, of course, in direct opposition with the next 2 companions that I want to talk about. You cannot recruit them to your party properly in Act 1, but you can do so in Act 2, and you prepare it all with your actions that you take within Act 1. Based on these actions, one of the 2 will be available to join you, but never both. Skip this next section to the timestamp that's on screen if you don't want direct spoilers about the situation, if you just want to make the choice that you'd make just inherently and get the result that that gives you, but for anyone who really does want to know and actually choose which companion they're going for and make their actions based on that, one of these companions is Halsin. He is a druid, specifically the leader of the druids of the Emerald Grove in the area. The other one is the leader of the goblin camp itself, Minthara, a drow paladin with a slightly more sinister outlook on life. Through the story of Act 1, you can either make the choice to free Halsin if you get into the goblin camp safely and fight with the druids against the goblins, even with the option to take a stealthier approach and just take out the leaders of the goblin camp. Or, instead of that, you can side with Minthara and the goblins and fight against the druids and tieflings. If you do so, you'll immediately lose Wyll as a companion, who has major moral problems with all of this and quite obvious reasons, and if you do it in a specific way, you will also lose Karlach. So choosing Minthara has its consequences for sure, but it definitely makes for a unique experience if you choose to do so. So to put it simply, depending on whose side you take in that major squabble of Act 1, you'll get access to one of those two characters as companions later on. That is all the different companions in Act 1 specifically, as well as what you can do to work towards 2 Act 2 companions early on, but now let's have a quick stop on party composition. In order to really be effective properly in this game, your party of 4 players will need to have some certain roles. Most importantly, I would argue, is absolutely a healer, someone with restorative magic of some kind to keep the party alive for a longer period of time, like a druid or a cleric or a paladin with more of a healing focus. Tank is next up, but can only be only so direct, as enemies will still attack other targets, even if you have someone that you want to be the tank. Generally, solid tanking classes are fighter, barbarian, and paladin, just things that can make themselves actually take less damage and put themselves in situations where they're taking a brunt of the aggression from the enemies. Then you have your various kinds of damage dealer as well. Some of them are more supporting others' damage, some of them are dealing loads of damage in high bursts, but then nothing for ages. Some of them are just really good at sustained damage over long fights. The important distinction here is between whether that damage is done in melee range or from much further away. Generally, you want one of each, and those are very flexible as far as which classes work for them. So with that, you may be looking at the list of companions and just sort of choosing which ones that you want based on their base class and subclass and how they fit each of those roles. I mean, Shadowheart is a cleric, right? But she's a trickery domain cleric, so how does that fit in? Well, the best part of all of this is that you can change various class-based factors with withers in the camp once you have finished the first major story beat. For example, if I select Shadowheart in my party and walk her up to withers, I could turn her into anything that I wanted as far as class goes. Of course, I just went with a basic swap to making her a domain of life cleric instead of domain of trickery cleric, because I want her actions in class to still feel mostly in tune with her story, which I'm interested in, but I do want to have more of a healer. So the point here is that you could make Shadowheart a warlock or a barbarian if you wanted to. So as long as you are aware that you want to heal her for sure, and possibly even a tanky character too, you can literally just pick whichever characters for your party that you want as far as the stories that most appeal to you, and then you can have them each talk to withers to turn them into different classes that fit around your character and enable the type of gameplay that you want to take part in. Again, I would recommend having a cleric or a druid for every party pretty much as far as a proper healer. You also want someone who's good at talking and someone who's good at sneaking as well as picking locks, stuff like that. Then just a big brute to stand up in the front. Past that, the world's your oyster, just have fun with it all. As far as companion stories and quests then, don't worry that there is anything hidden going on. As you spend more time in the game, companions will come talk to you. They will get exclamation marks above their head, or even sometimes when you have a long rest, you will awaken to a cutscene talking to one of them. This system is it's very intuitive. You don't need to go out of your way to mingle with your companions, just take them with you and you will learn their stories one little bit at a time. And that's it then, everyone. Everything important as far as getting all the companions as soon as possible for Act 1, how to make a proper team composition, and why it has such freedom in this game in particular. Then also just how to go about unlocking story conversations with your brand new friends. I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown, and I hope it makes your journey in Baldur's Gate 3 just that little bit better. Like if you liked the video, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more, and most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, stay sweet.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.